Brigitte McGuire, 610 Brinley Ave. First I wanted to ask the 17,000 for that PR website. Can I ask what specifically was done for that 17,000?
I think it delineates it on the bill list.
It wasn't off of the website. It says 11,006 was to improve social media and website, and then
we developed
it was for interface and implement new website.
So we developed a new website. We did social media training for all of our commissions, committees. We developed social media personnel policies and practices and implemented those. Put a control process in for website, Facebook, and that link up.
What's the approval? What is supposed to be approval for 11,000?
I'm not sure I understand.
Didn't it say approval for 11,000?
Social media and website.
So what's approving? Like what entails approving social media and website?
Actually, that as we got into the new website, as we got into getting ourselves compliant with social media, that resource reviewed all those things and ensured we were not out of compliance. There's compliance issues with social media, with websites, how you operate those.
And that costs $11,000
over a period of a year. The person would operate for a year for us.
And they'll just keep checking it over a year's time, like to make sure it's consistently.
Well, really the implementation process was over a year, getting people trained, getting people up to speed. Yeah.
Okay. The 6,900 for an event the municipality did that came out of tourism. How do we straighten this out? Like, what's the point of the tourism commission with its own ordinances and not signing off on money and not having even the plan to have an event and then, or have an event of that, with that entertainment for that price, and then the municipality just overriding that against the commission, against the ordinance, and then just taking money out of tourism to pay a municipal event?
Yeah, there's several issues that we're going to work through with tourism and events. There's some ordinance changes that have to take place, and there's some alignment between different people that schedule and organize those things. So we are looking at that.
Okay.
By the way, on that particular note, the mayor alone is looking at that. The rest of us are raising the same questions you're raising. So we don't know what's happening with tourism, and we've asked that question repeatedly.
Okay, thank you. Based on these questions regarding money and the bills list and consistently bringing up questions about the bills lists, what can we as residents ask for to get more clarity? You know, we have trust issues here. I have trust issues here. I don't trust 17,000 legitimately went to a social media person. I don't trust how 6,900 was paid for that event. I don't trust anything. How do I start getting, like, how do I get to see the numbers of the $16,000 I pay in tax dollars, how it's being spent? My taxes went up $1,300 from this year's increase. It's a lot of money. And if I don't get to have clarity around these prices, like, okay, why do we spend 17? Oh, because of this, and that. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go sit down now. No, I have trust issues and I need more proof. I need proof. I don't want explanations anymore. I don't want circle talk anymore. I want proof. How do we as residents get that? Besides an audit, and is that even happening yet?
You have questions about the agenda?
Well, yeah, I had questions about the bills list, and I had questions about, and it's because of these questions that I'm asking, is an audit taking place?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make some comments and questions about the bill list. So first, to the people that asked questions about the bill list, right on, because I had pretty much the same questions. And with that, page 11, Megan Bennett, the public relations consultant. I specifically remember back in the budget times, back in, I don't know, I guess the spring, March or April or something, Councilman Gubitosi specifically asking questions about people like this, people that, you know, were consultants. I'm of the opinion that this administration way overspent last year because they hired a lot of consultants. As you know, most of that did not come before this council, before these people were hired. And I remember Councilman Gubitosi asking about this person, and he was told there's no such person. We haven't paid any person like that. We don't have anybody on the payroll. We don't have anybody. I mean, he got answers of that nature. So I don't really understand why in August of 2023, all of a sudden, here she is, and we're paying her $17,000. And I will add, in the interim, we have discussed, you know, not paying contractors and things like that over anything over $4,000. Public, you know, contracts or professional services is going to come before the council, because that's what has been missing, in my opinion. But I don't. How does this happen? I don't get it.
First of all, Mr. Gubitosi questioned me probably no less than 5 times on that. Mm-hmm. We went through all of the records. We went through everything to be able to find the names that he was looking for. I can't quite recall, but I think it was possibly 5 names that you wanted me to look into. I believe I was able to find 3, and there were 2 I couldn't find. And this is one of the ones I couldn't find because it didn't exist. It wasn't in the system anywhere. This billing has arrived sometime within the last 2 months. And that is why it appears on the bill list this evening. And there has been a certification that the services have been received. So the reason it is on tonight is because this is the first time that this bill has arrived in a form that it could be here. And during the entire budget process that Mr. Gubitosi and I went through, and he asked me those questions, I didn't have the vaguest idea of who that name was. And when we went through all of the records, that name did not appear.
So are you saying that this person didn't bill us until, like, they billed us for these services since you had those discussions with
early in 2023, and at the time, Kim Humphrey, I think the instruction she gave was to pay her from, you know, on the pay, put her on the payroll and pay her. For some reason, that between her being out and transition, that didn't happen, and because it's a 22 bill, we didn't think it was appropriate to put into payroll, so we asked this person to invoice us. That's what happened.
So to be clear, this is from last year?
It's 2022.
So she left in January, if I remember?
Okay, if this person, well, if this person left in January, they did the services in 2022, and they left in January, and they didn't bill us till, I'm assuming, a couple of months ago, because he was asking these questions in March or April, if I remember roughly around that time.
It was June, actually. Jen, it was later.
Okay, so all I'm saying is that if this person rendered the services in 22, didn't bill us till the second half of 23, it seems like they don't need that $17,000.
No, they billed us. No, the bill. I think what the person was assuming was that she would be paid out of the payroll, and that didn't happen. And again, because it was beyond 2022, we said it's not appropriate. Let's pay it on the end.
But I'm saying if she could last a year without these $17,000, I'd say maybe Bradley Beach needs this money more than she does, quite frankly. So I would like to, you know.
Well, John, before you even say anything, I'd like to understand, why did she think she was going to be paid out of payroll? I know you weren't here, Mr. Fehrenbach, so I'm directing the question to the mayor.
I said that Kim Humphrey was working with this person, this consultant.
Yeah. How much did she get paid in 2022?
Nothing that we can find.
Nothing.
So she was there for months and months and months and not one paycheck.
Correct.
Like I said, it sounds like she doesn't need the money that bad.
Well, I don't think you can make that comment.
I just did make that comment.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can make that comment in a valid manner, number one. And number two, I guess the other point, Councilman, is you said that we overspent the budget in 2022. We underspent the budget by $700,000.
There
Because
was
we're spending-
left over in reserve about $780,000.
Right. So please don't give the impression that we overspent the 2020.
We depleted our surplus by 300,000, I think.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying to say.
So
He said so.
I just have lots of questions, like when, you know, I would just want to know dates and who was at these trainings and, you know, like how much time they spent on the personnel policies and how much time they spent on approving social media and website and all this stuff. Because, I mean, and if we needed it so bad, like, why don't we still have somebody doing that? I don't think we have anybody doing this now.
Because we did not have any policies or procedures. We trained all the commission's committee leads in a couple of sessions. We got aligned to requirements, government requirements on what you can and can't do on social media, what you can and can't do on websites. We did none of those things before. So this person brought that to bear, did the training, and then monitored that to make sure we were doing it.
But so we don't have anybody approving social media now. So
one of the reasons is that, for instance, Courtney Pappas was trained by her, worked with her, asked a number of questions, and she's monitoring and handling that.
Well,
And there is a
Courtney Pappas is not monitoring for all social media for the town. It just seems like since this person seems to be related, not related, but they only provided services when the former borough administrator was here. And now that borough administrator is gone, this person's not providing services anymore. So it doesn't seem like we need them that badly. I would just like to approve this bill list with taking this off and getting some questions answered. If we can take this $17,000 off, then I can vote yes on this bill list.
Well, I have other questions on the bill list, but I also agree that I have questions about this invoice, 17,000. As Councilman Weber said, and Mr. Fairbuck did everything in his power to locate how we paid this individual last year. I did repeatedly ask it, as you acknowledged, and I kept in my emails to Mr. Fairbuck, I kept saying, I know this person did a lot of work for the borough. I'm not criticizing the work. I'm simply saying I know she existed. I know we owed her money, and for the life of him, our acting BA could not find one iota of evidence that the woman had billed us for anything, that we paid anything. We were searching her name, a company name, everything. So when this appeared on the bill list today, dated August 1st of 23, I thought, what's happening? We're starting all together to hear the answer to what's happening. I would add that probably unrelated, but at least in my mind, it is related. We hired this website to be built and paid $10,000 at the end of 2021 against my recommendations. We had just previously hired a new website. We had paid them $3,500 for the installation, and I actually thought it was a very solid website. I had an independent assessment of the quality of the website. The original one, 3 versions ago, was rated like a D on an elementary school report card. The new one rated a B+, and this one that was changed without my support was rated a C or a C+. So we actually took a backward step.
I guess I question, you're saying you got an independent.
Yeah, I did. I had an independent.
Well, who was the independent?
It was a free independent assessment that someone volunteered to do for me. They had no skin in the game. And I just simply said,
I'm asking a question. Who did the independent
doesn't matter, Larry. You think I'm lying?
No,
I gotta give you,
I'm asking a clarifying question
to prove myself. Well, my clarifying answer is it doesn't matter. What matters is I had an independent assessment. I brought this attention to the prior business administrator, and I was summarily dismissed. I was told that the website that I had helped implement was not compliant with ADA standards. We were paying an extra $3,500 for ADA compliance. My comment at that time was, we paid that extra money, make them ADA compliant. Instead, we went out, paid $10,000 for a new website, and now I see references from this individual's consulting talking about something interface and implement new website. So my top of my head blew off when I saw this, to tell you the truth, Mr. Fehrenbach. And I am concerned. I'm not at all planning to vote on this tonight, but I would like to have more of an opportunity to understand specifically what this invoice represents in terms of services.
Anybody else?